Good morning. Looks like we're live. All right. Well, here we are. And welcome to today's SpectraLayers Pro 8 live stream. SpectraLayers Pro 8 New Features Part 2. We're going to start in about 15 minutes. You can see I have my little timer there, my little countdown timer set up. And yeah, it's good. And there's a little bit of ambient music playing in the background for you to start your Saturday. Saturday all over the world, right? I'm not sure what time it is where you are. Here it is 9:46 a.m. in Wisconsin. And that's the United States, and it's nice. It's a nice sunny day. And perfect day for a live stream. And good to see you. Now, I'm just going to sit back and make sure everything's working okay and wait for people to check in. Ceylon says hello. Can you hear me okay, Ceylon? Is the sound okay? You should be hearing my voice and a little bit of ambient music in the background there. A little track. This track is called Cold Comfort. I made this down here in my studio, Virtu Studio, here in Madison, Wisconsin. It's kind of got a little bit of a ambient vibe to it. It's a kind of lockdown music, I guess you could say. That's why it's called Resistance. And 20, yeah, good. All right. Good. And so, yeah, a little bit early here. I'm 15 minutes early, and we'll start in 15. Now it's 12 minutes away. And I'm just starting early to make sure that everything's working. It's not like I do these live streams every day, and so when I do, I want to make sure that everything's working and the sound is good and all that. Yeah. So we should have a really good live stream today. We have SpectraLayers here and Cubase. Yeah, should be good. So, yeah, we'll talk about a lot of things today. What's on the menu? We'll talk about that in a little while for sure. Lots of work in Cubase in ARA mode. SpectraLayers in ARA mode is, I don't know, I think probably the place. If you are a Steinberg platform user, Nuendo, Cubase, and so forth, then probably SpectraLayers is going to be implemented in the DAW workflow, the NLE workflow, or yeah, DAW, I guess. That's what Nuendo is, DAW/video assembly program or whatever, post-production powerhouse. But yeah, these programs, these are where SpectraLayers is really going to come in handy because you can open that program up right inside the audio editor window and get busy in there. And you can do all the stuff in there that you would be able to do in the standalone version. So you have the standalone version and ARA mode. Today we'll be working in both modes. And our little track has come to a conclusion here. I'll start it over. Why not? Here we go. So this little ambient piece, you can hear it's got, it's very simple. It has a layer of piano and it has a layer of synthesizer, and the synth is Arturia Polybrute, really nice, beautiful. I just got it, and I'm really enjoying it. And the piano sample is Spitfire Audio's Felt Piano, which is a really beautiful kind of piano. And the reason why I'm playing this is because we're going to take a look at some of the individual tracks from this piece today in Cubase. In SpectraLayers in ARA mode, we will do a little bit of post-production work on this piano sound, some sound design work, and I'll show you some different things that you can do using the tools in SpectraLayers, and to get results that literally, I mean, you won't be able to get with any other program, for sure. Le Chapeau is checking in. SpectraLayers forever. I know, right? Post-production workflow with Nuendo, please. Sure. Actually, if you want to see some of that post-production in Nuendo, you want to check out one of the official Steinberg videos that we've already put up where we do some ADR work, with some dialogue replacement work. And that's one of the official, not not live, but, officially produced Steinberg videos. And I'm really glad you brought that up because we're going to be taking a look at all of the videos today. I kind of made a list of them, and I'm going to show my list of videos so that you can see the kind of resources that are available for you to learn about SpectraLayers. Now, SpectraLayers has a learning curve to it, for sure. Any program as sophisticated as this is going to have a learning curve. And these videos, we have lots of videos. And that's one of my points, is that I'm going to show you a list of the videos that we have as well as the live streams that we have. And you can see that in this day and age, videos are your user guide. And so with all of the videos that we have available now for SpectraLayers, you have a really, really good kickstart for getting into the program and learning, every feature. And we should talk a little bit about the differences between the official tutorial videos and the live streams. And there's some important differences. Excuse me for a minute. The Steinberg official videos, they're kind of short and sweet. They get straight to the point, and they don't have a lot of fluff in them. They just show you what to do to get things done. The live streams, on the other hand, are different. They go slower, and it takes longer to get through the features because we go deeper into the details. We also, push the limits to the program, and sometimes we push the limits of the program right into failure. And so you can see SpectraLayers fail in real time in the live streams because we push it. And by doing that, you can see the limitations of the program. And you're also, made aware that this isn't, the live streams aren't exactly what I would call, corporate hard sell. They get into the details. And also, during these live streams, I also go and check the comments a lot and try to get you guys involved. Let's see who's checking in. This is going to be fun. Hey, Michael Pierce. Where are you from, Michael? What's the name of the person who's streaming? My name is Mike Scheibinger, and I'm at Virtu Studio in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm in a house, the place where I live, and my studio is kind of in a 2-room complex down in the basement of my house. It's more than just a basement studio, actually. It's kind of a well-appointed, project studio. And this is where I work. I work out of here. And I do lots of different stuff. I do educating. I do stuff for Steinberg, which I love. It's my favorite. And I edit the articles for Recording Magazine, which is also my favorite. So between all the different little gigs I have down here, I keep pretty busy. And then when I have some spare time, I make music. And you're listening to one of the tracks that I made. It's called Cold Comfort, and I made this little ambient music moniker or whatever called Resistance, because this is, in essence, this is sort of like lockdown music when nobody's around and you're left to your own devices. You can't have people over, you can't have bands over to record, setting up drums and guitar amps and stuff, which is what I was doing a lot of before the lockdown. But when the lockdown happened, I sort of I don't know what the word for it is. I guess you could say I imploded. And I started making this really mellow kind of Eno-esque music while staying safe. And I hope everyone's safe out there in the midst of this continuing problem. And that you're getting something out of it, whether it's you know, a chance to explore your own creativity or develop, you know, online relationships, collaborative relationships with creative people. And we all find a way to work through this. And this is my little way, I guess. So, are you sure you're playing it back? Yeah, you can't hear the track? Yeah, I'm playing it back. I can hear it through my headphones. It's really soft. I'll turn it up just a little bit. Yeah. And this is one of the reasons why I'm getting an early start. I just want to make sure that that everything's working. Well, maybe the music's not playing back. Oh, wait, I can hear it. Le Chapeau, you can hear it. I'm glad. Well, you know, that's the thing about ambient music. It's supposed to blend. It's supposed to blend. It's supposed to blend way into the background. Hey, you had me scared there, man. Like I said, you know, I just want to make sure everything's working okay. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, you know, getting ready for these things and making sure that you have a good connection and that all of your cabling is all done. I have another little track I can play while we wait. We only have just a few minutes to go yet, and we're going to start. But I have this other track here that I'll play for a minute while we wait. And let's see here. Let's try this one. This has a little bit of a different vibe to it. It's still really super mellow. And we'll try a minute of this. I'll turn it up just a little bit more. So the early check-ins are here. Let's see. Le Chapeau's here. Michael Pierce. Yeah. Are you a Steinberg founder? Yeah. No, I'm just I'm a Steinberg devotee, and I love the Steinberg platform. I have a really pretty long history with SpectraLayers. I used to work with SpectraLayers before it became part of the Steinberg product catalog. And even back then, I was having a blast with it. I mean, like, every time I use SpectraLayers, I think of something new or different. And when I'm putting these Hangouts together, sometimes my original plan to do something changes based on things I discover. And the first thing I'm going to show you today is a little sound design exercise. And I had one idea, and I went through the idea, and then I slept on it. And the next day, I came back, and I started doing the idea again. And I thought to myself, "Wait a minute! I can do this. I can do this differently." And so it's always evolving. That's the whole thing about the SpectraLayers. Your approach. Your approach is continuously evolving. And we're going to start in about a minute and a half. Right. Hi from Moscow. Dimitri's here. Dusseldorf, excellent. Ooh, this is getting loud now. Dusseldorf, the land of Kraftwerk and the Boing Boom Chuck. Someday, when I go to when I visit Steinberg, I would like to go to Dusseldorf just to be in the same place where Kraftwerk had its early stomping ground. I mean, you know, that's the Dusseldorf sound, right? Boing Boom Chuck. Wow, Le Chapeau is from Greece. Amazing. Moscow, Greece. Great. That's cool. Yeah. Rene says, if you make these tracks, I do you use SpectraLayers? How do you use it? Can you give an example? Of course. Sure. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. You know, I do SpectraLayers in pretty much every single project that I do. I use SpectraLayers. It might be for something really tiny, like getting rid of a sound, or it might be something really extensive, like something I'm going to show you today. And here we go, 210. We are off. I didn't know my timer was going to give me that explosion sound. I don't really care for that too much, but yeah, well, here we are. Goodbye, timer. Okay, let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to call up some slides here, and we're going to talk about those a little bit, if I can find them. Here we go. And I'm just going to go here and call up these slides. And here we go. We have some nice slides to look at. So here we have a list of the official Steinberg SpectraLayers release videos that are available for you to explore. And these run versions 7 and 8, both versions. And here you can see we have 30 videos. There are actually 30 videos that you can access. Now, 3 of these 30 videos, and I'll point these out, 2nd Gen SLP 8 promo here, version 7 promo here, Elements launch here. These are promotional videos, and there's not a lot of tutorial content in there. As a matter of fact, they're just, they're motivational launch videos. But then the 27 other videos on this list are like really extensive tutorials. Before somebody mentioned using SpectraLayers in Nuendo post-production. We have a video for that, definitely. And that would be, which one is this? Deep Lead. Ambience Match ARA 2, I think. Yeah, but that we definitely have an ADR video for Nuendo. And all different things, electric guitar production, playback tool, transform tool, components, unmix, healing, denoiser, de-esser, the works. And so if there's a task that you need to get done in SpectraLayers and you need a quick reference in order to learn quickly how to do it, why then you have 27 unique Steinberg official SpectraLayers version 7, version 8 videos. Okay, now here on this slide, here we can see these are the version 7 and 8 combined live stream presentations to date. The first one, Back to the Basics, June 17th, 2020, that was actually my very first live stream presentation ever in my life, and the first one I ever gave. And I didn't really have the bandwidth to do it here at Virtu Studio in Wisconsin in the United States, so I had to do it at a different location. And let me tell you that, I'm still nervous doing these things, but that first one, it was quite an experience. But yeah, the first one was back in June 17th, so that was, way more than a year ago. And then we have all these different live streams here for you to enjoy. Now, like I said before, the live streams, they're slower paced and they're long. And but the cool thing is that as soon as the live stream is done, then I take a little rest and I come back and I go to the YouTube channel that hosts the presentation, and I go in there and I make clickable hot link index points. And you can go in there and you don't have to sit through an hour and a half of me talking, which I know is really exciting to you, but nevertheless, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can just click on the index and get to the place where you want to learn a certain operation or whatever. And you can watch and see what we did, and you can see where it worked, and you can see where it fell off the tracks, and all of the live without a net kind of things that go along with that. But we make it really easy, even though these live streams they're kind of extended because we really take our time and go for it, do a deep dive. You can still hit these index points and get to what you want to learn quickly. Now, finally, this last slide this is what we're going to look at today, and SpectraLayers Pro 8 new features shown today. The first one is improved ARA2 integration. Work with multiple independent SpectraLayers projects within the DAW project. And that means we're going to go right to Cubase. We're going to start right in Cubase and go to ARA mode with that. Then we'll look at the voice denoiser a little bit, and we'll look at click repair a little bit. And these three things are going to take up the whole time because, like it says at the end, expect some creative tangents. And we're going to have a creative tangent right away to get things started. So I guess that's it for this part. And Jeff says hello from Chico, California. Hello. Hey, man. Long time no see. Yeah, it's been a while. And I'll tell you why. I did the first live stream back in, or I did the first part one, new features, back in, I think it was June. Let's go back and look. And the new features part one was in July. That was in July. Now it's July, August, September, October. So it's been a while. Yeah. And one of the reasons why that is because I was doing, I did the photo shoots for the new edition of Wavelab that came out. And as you guys know, Justin Perkins, the audio mastering engineer, and he lives right up the road from me. So when it came time, and he endorses SpectraLayers, and he's a great mastering engineer. And when it came time to release the new Wavelab edition, then I'm a pretty good semi-pro, photographer. I went over to Justin's place and I shot his studio. So that took some time, and that's probably why there was like such a long gap between new features part one and today. And then in the meantime, we just released this video, vocal stem cleaning. This just got released last week, and that's a really interesting video. It deals with unmixed stems, the unmixed stems process, and different ways that you can work with that to create the cleanest possible stems in the business. I'm telling you, it pretty much doesn't get better, and it's really good stuff. All right, I'm going to close out of here, and let's go to the very, very first project, and that's going to be in. We're going to kick things off in Cubase. One more look at the comments. Hi again, Jeff. Turning up here. Good. Chico, yep, good. When will some new offers come out? I'm waiting for them. Soon. New offers will come out very soon. As a matter of fact, next month, I think. Be prepared because, the whole seasonal sale thing starts, and then the good deals they're on the way. So here we are in Cubase, and I'm going to have a sip of my coffee here for a moment. And just collect my thoughts for maybe 5 or 10 seconds here, and then we'll get started. Okay. Now, the little track that I was playing for you when we got started, the Cold Comfort track, here are some different tracks from that, and I'm going to play them. I'm going to play them all together at once. Okay. And this is really simple music, and I like that because nothing is getting in the way of me showing you all of these features. I'll turn it up a little bit now. There we go. Much better. Have a drink of coffee, Jeff. I hope you have a beverage with you. There we go. So here we have 3 different tracks, and these are the tracks. These are some of the basic tracks that were used to make the Cold Comfort song that I played for you while we were waiting to go on. And so here we have a music bed, and note, it's important to note now, this is stereo. We have a stereo music bed, and it sounds like this. And this is straight up Arturia Polybrute. Very simple and pretty dry. And over here, the bass kind of builds up nicely. That's nice. So that's a simple, basic music bed for the track. Now, here we have a lap steel track, and this is kind of like, I have a Gretsch lap steel, and I make these drone sounds by like rubbing the metal bar, the metal slide or whatever, just kind of vibrating it on top of the strings, and it creates this, this kind of drone ambience that's really nice. It's almost like a synth pad, but it's more harmonically rich because it's being played in real time, and all the strings are resonating, in different ways, and it has a kind of a nice shimmery quality to it. Yep, that's a lap steel. It sounds almost like human voices. Now here we have the piano track, and this piano track is different than what you heard because it's completely dry. And, well, it's not completely dry. It has a little bit of the room ambience on it that was provided by Spitfire Audio. And this is Spitfire Audio stereo felt piano. And you can see it's kind of dry. Just, single notes. And when I put it all together, it sounds like that. Okay. Now, the project that we're going to work on here is I want to produce a really sophisticated, really complex kind of reverb sound to go on the piano. And I'll take you through some new features in SpectraLayers as we do this. So first of all, what I'm showing you right now is the feature. I'm showing you the feature called Work with Multiple Independent SpectraLayers Projects in the Cubase DAW project. And this has improved ARA integration. And so let's bring all three of these channels into SpectraLayers. Now to do that, I'm going to grab all three like this, and you can see all three come up in the audio editor window. And then I'm going up here to the audio menu, and I'm driving down to extensions, SpectraLayers. Now when I click SpectraLayers, like I just did, and the wheel spins a little bit, and then all three of these layers now appear in SpectraLayers Pro, which now occupies the audio editor window. And this is where I want to point out the idiosyncrasies or whatever of how these tracks came into SpectraLayers. And to do that, I would like you to focus your attention over here on the left. And here you can see we have tabs, stereo and mono tabs. Now, by default, I lassoed these three tracks, and I, invoked SpectraLayers. And SpectraLayers saw this stuff coming in, and it said, okay, some of these tracks are stereo tracks. And then, oh, look, there's a mono track too. Now, mono and stereo tracks can't live in the same tab in the SpectraLayers project. SpectraLayers, in order to group audio tracks as layers in SpectraLayers, SpectraLayers really wants to see the same audio properties, and one of those properties is stereo versus mono. So when you're selecting multiple files, if it sees a mono file, it's going to put that on a mono tab, like so. And that's the way it works. And so we have on the stereo tab, we have the music bed and the stereo piano both under one tab, and I can mute and solo those like I am here. And we have the mono track on its own independent channel here. And, we can solo that here and play it. Now we're playing the lap steel track, and that's showing up here in the mono tab. And as you can see, the playhead, stays synchronized with the work. Now, sometimes when you're working in SpectraLayers, you want to see every single audio channel in Cubase show up on its own tab in SpectraLayers. And you can do that. And so over here, look, in the clip menu, when I drop down this menu, you can see that group by format is selected. And, you know, automatically SpectraLayers must do that. And so we have the formats of stereo and mono, and they're grouped accordingly on the two tabs. But now, if I want to, if I go up here, now watch, if I go up here and I click no grouping, now a third tab is added, and I have the stereo piano and the lap steel and the music bed all on their own separate tabs. Now here, I have a remove event, add event buttons. If I want to remove an event, all I have to do is click remove event, and now my cursor turns into this arrow. And say, for example, I'm not going to be processing the lap steel track. I can click on that, and now the lap steel track goes away. And now look, I only have two tabs left in the SpectraLayers interface. And so the big things to remember here is that when you're calling multiple audio tracks into SpectraLayers, it's going to sort them out based on whether or not they're stereo or mono. And then if the stereo tracks get all grouped under one tab, you can just go here to the clip menu and select no grouping, and they'll show up on their own tab. And then, of course, you can use, if I want to add the lap steel back, I can go to add event and click there on it. And now, again, the lap steel track has been added back. And so, you know, you have flexibility here. You know, you bring stuff into SpectraLayers, they come in grouped, you can ungroup them, add events, remove events. And this is cutting edge ARA2 integration, and it makes the workflow just so much cleaner. And Mike likes the lap steel sound. Thanks to the lap steel sound is very, very interesting. You can get a lot of sounds out of that thing just by sort of, you know, rubbing the slide on the strings and creating. It almost sounds like a human voice. Like when I solo this lap steel. Now listen, it sounds. Hear that? It sounds like a choir of angels, but it's actually nothing but a lap steel. And I ran that lap steel through an Eventide Rose pedal, which is a really cool delay pedal. It's kind of an analog emulation with extras, modulation and stuff. It's very cool. Okay, that's a cool feature. Now, we're going to go into some sound design stuff here for a little while. And let's clear the decks. And so I'm going to grab all three of these. Now watch, if I want to release these audio tracks from SpectraLayers, and I don't really have to do this. I mean, I could just go to the music or to the piano track right now and start working on it. But I'm going to show you, well, first of all, let's remember that if I save this project now, all of these SpectraLayers attributes save with the project. So when I open the project back up, all my tabs are there, you know, just the way I left it. And the SpectraLayers is running in the background, and it's, you know, it's seamless. But now, say for example, I want to start over and get rid of all of the SpectraLayers layers. Well, it's simple. All I have to do is select them like this, and go back to Audio, Extensions, and remove extension from selected events. Now SpectraLayers is completely released, closed in the background, and I'm back at my audio waveform editor. Now the track I want to work on is the stereo piano track. I'm going to work on that for a while in SpectraLayers as we do some sound design. And so I'm going to reinstantiate SpectraLayers now with only the piano layer track. And so I'll make the track active and then go Audio, Extensions, SpectraLayers. Okay, great. Now I'm going to do the old solo and mute button dance here, and we'll solo the piano, and there we have it. Okay, this is what we want to operate on, but actually it's kind of not what we want to operate on. Let me back up a step here. I'm going to go to my pool, and now watch this. This is probably a better way to do this. This is all super new to me. I mean, I finalized this yesterday. I changed my game plan a little bit. I'm going to go back to the stereo track, and I'm going to release that from SpectraLayers. Okay, now watch this. I'm going to work on multiple instances of the stereo piano track. And I'm going to start by going into the pool. And here in the pool, you can see that I have my stereo piano track here, along with the lap steel and the music bed. So stereo piano, now watch. I'm going to go and I'm going to create a new version of this file. So I have piano 2, and then I'm going to create another new version, piano 3, and I'm going to create one more new version, piano 4. So now we have the original piano, and we have 3 different copies of it, 3 copies to that we can work on, and they all sound the same. Now I'm going to grab the stereo piano 2 track, and I'm going to drag that onto my timeline, and now I have a duplicate of the piano track. And again, we'll clear the decks here of solo and mute, and we'll solo this piano track. And we'll give it a little color here to differentiate it. The colors are cool because the track color is the color that will then show up in SpectraLayers, which really helps you sort things out. Let's look at the comments. I mean, these features included in WaveLab Pro. Oh, no. This is, we're working in SpectraLayers today. And WaveLab is WaveLab, and Cubase is Cubase, Nuendo is Nuendo, and SpectraLayers is SpectraLayers. They're all integrated in different ways, but these features, SpectraLayers features, of course, are unique to SpectraLayers. So now here I have the my duplicate stereo piano track soloed, and there it is. Okay, now look, this is the track that I'm going to operate on in order to create a big, vast soundscape. So that the piano fits into the ambient composition better. So I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to go Extensions, SpectraLayers, and now this piano track is in SpectraLayers, and we can get right to work on it. Now I'm going to increase my window size a little bit here. Okay, now I am going to use this as the source material to create a reverb effect, or some sophisticated effects processing for the piano track to make the piano track sound incredible. So over here on the right in the frequency display, I'm just going to hover over that and scroll up. Now when I scroll up, I can see clearly the fundamental tone of every one of these piano notes. And if I go here to my resolution here in the upper right, I can use my refinement control to in my FFT size, and these things don't affect the sound of the audio; they just affect the look. And so I'm dialing in the look that I want, and now here I'm going to spread this a little bit higher, and again, I'll mess around a little bit with it until it comes into focus. It's a lot like focusing a camera. You get in a camera, usually, if when you're up close, not the entire frame is in focus. Only the parts you want to see are in focus. And so it's the same thing in SpectraLayers. It's like it's like looking through a camera lens and getting the best possible depth of field and range that you want to see. So here we have what we want to see in focus using these controls over here on the right. And you can see that's the piano note. Now, I want to work with just the fundamental harmonic, the first harmonic of the piano note. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to select the frequency selection tool. And again, I'm going to get a little bit more close to these fundamental tones. And now I'm going to hover the tool over the first harmonic and select it like this. Okay, so now I have the fundamental tone is selected. It sounds, isn't that beautiful? I mean, it sounds like a cross between a Fender Rhodes piano and like marimba. It's just really nice. It's sweet, It's beautiful. Okay, now with that selected, I'm going to go up here on the upper left, and I'm going to choose Add to Selection. Let me show you what would happen if I didn't do that. If I choose this harmonic, then this one goes away, and we don't want that. We want to create non-contiguous selections on the spectral graph. So I'm going to do a Command D to get rid of that selection, and I'm going to start over. So now I'm selecting the first harmonic, and I can get right up against the this here. Now see this little area here? Oh, look, grab that. I don't really want that. That's the pedal push on the piano. Those are built into the Spitfire felt piano. So again, I'm going to deselect that. All I really want is the fundamental tone and nothing else. Now here I missed the transient a little bit. So again, we'll give it one more shot. We'll get it perfect. And there we go. There we go. That's just what I want. Now I'm going up here to the upper left, and I'm going to choose Add to Selection. Now I can select all of my fundamental tones on the spectral graph like this. This one's a little bit jaggy. That's okay. And there we go. And like this. And like so. And now we have them all selected. And if I zoom back out like this, I'll zoom back out. Now you can see that just these fundamental tones are selected. Okay? Listen to a few of these go by. Scrolling the zoom with mouse wheel is unique. Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah. Jeff said setting the frequency to 0 was helpful from the last cast. Yes, that's a really great feature. And I'll show you how that feature works before we go on. So this is a good selection. The feature that Jeff, let's see, hang on. Yeah, the feature that Jeff was talking about is this. Frequency unit lock spectrogram to 0. Okay, now I can hover my cursor anywhere over the frequency range here. And when I expand it upward, the 0 hertz is always maintained down here at the bottom. Now, without that control, let's say I go back and I shut this off. Now I'm going to shut off lock spectrogram. Now, when I do the same operation, I lose. Look, see, this is 0 hertz. And when I do this, I lose it. I lose 0 hertz. And then if I want to see 0 hertz again, I have to grab the hand tool and sort of like, drag it back up again so that I can see 0 hertz. However, with the view frequency unit lock spectrogram to 0, now I'm locked in at 0, and everything I do, no matter what I do, I can always see 0 hertz in the spectrum. And this is great because a lot of the time we're working in the lower frequency ranges, like getting rid of rumbles and and stuff like that. And we're really concerned with knocking out stuff in the subharmonics range, like say 80 hertz and below, where things get muddy and strange. And a lot of times we just want to stay oriented so that we can always see 0 hertz, and that's how we do it. Okay, now here comes a cool feature. With my selection made, this is a selection that I want to work with. I'm going to go to Select, and I'm going to go Save Selection, and I'm going to call this selection Fundamental Tones. Okay, so this is Fundamental Tones. Now when I click OK, this selection is saved. Now I'm using a Command D to deselect the selection. Oh, my selection's gone. What if I want it back? I just go to Select, Load Selection, Fundamental Tones, click OK, and now that selection comes back. And again, that saves with the project, and we're all good. Okay, now, this is the first round of sound design, and this is what I want to work on to make a huge reverb sound for this track. And so watch this. I am going to invert the selection, and now everything is selected except for these piano tones, and I'm going to delete that. Now when I hit delete, Command D to deselect, now I have only the fundamental tones on the piano layer. Now I'm going to turn my brightness control up a little bit, and you can see that, there are some, vestigial sounds here that are part that came along with my selection. And of course, if I want to clean those up, it's really easy. Say, for example, I want to get rid of everything below 150 hertz. All I have to do is grab my frequency range selection tool, and I'll pull everything below 100 hertz. And did I do the right thing? I'm just going to pull everything there. Yeah, I'm going to pull everything below, like, say, 150 hertz. And this is a little bit close to the my fundamental tone. So watch this. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to use the transform selection tool, and I'm just going to pull that down a little bit. Let's listen to this. You're not going to hear much. Yeah, there's hardly anything there. It's just, this is so tweaky at this point. Now I'm going to delete that selection, go back to Command D for deselect. And these are all, really clean fundamental tones. And now we have these tones isolated on this track. And let's call this fundamental. We'll call this fundamentals. These are the fundamental tones of the piano. Okay, now that I have these fundamental tones isolated, I can do sound design work on them. And since they're on a Cubase channel, I have access to all of the different, goodies in here. So I'm going to go to the insert effects, and I'm going to put on this thing called Spaced Out. This is a brand new reverb program from Baby Audio that I've been looking at lately. For people who like doing ambient music, cinematic, spacey music, this is the ticket. Now I'm going to go straight here. Now watch, this is really funny. When I go into the presets, look, here's a preset. It's called Harold's Piano. Now, you know who Harold is? It's Harold Budd. Harold Budd was a remarkable ambient piano player who really lushed his piano sounds out with lots of reverb and stuff like that. And he worked a lot with Brian Eno and Daniel Lanois to build soundscapes using pianos, exactly like we're doing now. And I'm sure if back in Harold's time when he was doing this stuff with Eno, if they would have had these tools, they probably would have used them. So let's grab the Harold's Piano preset and listen to it just for a second. Now this is what it sounds like. Now, listen, I'm going to hit the spacebar and play a little bit, and then stop. Listen to that reverb trail there. Okay? That's a reverb trail that we're generating right off of this harmonic. Now, here I have a choice, and I can use my, this is basically like a mix control. And you can see over here on the left we have delays, and over here on the right we have the reverb. And here we have the wet-dry relationships and percentages of each effect. And since we already have the basic stereo piano track here, and I'll play the first note of it again for you just to remind you. Okay, see, that's the first note. We don't need any of the original sound, of the dry piano sound in our fundamentals reverb track. We just don't need it. So I'm going to grab my mixer control here, and I'm going to go to 100% reverb, and with a little bit of delay in there. There we go. So now the thing here is that the cool thing is that we've extracted something out of this piano track. We've put it on its own track, the fundamentals, and we're not mixing in any of the dry sound. So you're not going to get any digital artifacts that are part of the old spectral paradigm where everything's always a trade-off. There's no compromise here. There's no artifacts. And, actually, come to think of it, when you're listening to these fundamentals, they don't sound artifacty at all. They sound beautiful. You could sample every one of these piano notes one at a time and move them over to, say, for example, Steinberg has this program called Backbone, and you could drag samples into Backbone and pitch shift them and do all kinds of crazy stuff, time shift them, and do filtering and modulation and stuff like that. But again, the point being here is that SpectraLayers can be used to create resources for sound design work, and which is exactly what we've done here. So let's listen a little bit to the stereo piano dry track mixed with the fundamental reverb track that was done here with our spaced out reverb program. Listen. Hear it? That's nice. A little bit of pre-delay in there, it seems. Oh, that's the delay coming off of here. If I click these squares, I can make that first delay go away. There we go. Okay. Now that's nice, but I want to make it kind of bump a little bit more. So I'm going to put I'm going to put some compression on that. It'll just take a second. It'll sound really good. Wait and see. And so here I'm going to go into my virtual mix rack and opening that up. Everything's running smoothly here. And Slate has a new compressor out called the Opto. And this is nice. And so it's got presets. It's cool. We're going to go straight to Airy and jack this up a little bit. Make the compression a little bit slower. And I just want to kind of pump that sound up. Yeah, hear that? I'll turn it up a little bit here too. It's a little bit much. Oof, that's a lot. Okay, that'll do for now. Stop. We're gonna... Interesting. Hold on. There we go. For a minute there, I thought I wasn't going to be able to get it to stop. Yeah, that compression was nice. It wound up being a little bit much. I'm going to just pull it down just a little bit. But this is basically, what we want. Okay, now that we've done this, let's do the same process again, and I'll take you through yet another feature. Let's go to the comments just for a minute. You can only hear it. You can't really hear it that well on your smartphone. Well, put your headphones on. Get out your Bluetooth buds and pop them in there. Please come back to me with comments about if you need it louder or, if you can't hear anything. If there's something that you can't hear, we can make adjustments on this side. So now, if you remember, in the pool, I went and I made these copies like this. Now, I'm going to grab the second copy, which is Stereo Piano 3, and I'm going to drag that here. So now I have another piano layer that I can work on and do stuff with. And we'll give that a color, and that's a nice color. I don't really care what it is as long as it's different from the one above. So now, let's bring this one into SpectraLayers. And so I'm going to highlight the track and go Audio, Extensions, SpectraLayers. And now this piano track is coming up, and look, it's come up on its own tab. And we can work on it. And so now, but even though it came up on its own tab, we still have like universal access to SpectraLayers Pro features. For example, watch this. If I go to Layer, or if I go to Select, Load Selection, look, here's the fundamental tones that I saved on the first round. And so I can bring those back in, and here they are. Now I have my fundamental tones. Again, I'm going to switch mouses here. Hold on. I like using the mouse with a scroll wheel on it when I do this stuff. And let's see, something Something unpredictable happened here. Hold on. Ah. Oh, that is amazing. So, I need to back up a second here. So, I just kind of lost my bearings for a second. The what we want to work on is this new piano layer here, stereo piano 3. And this menu has kind of stuck open. There we go. No grouping. Okay. And just 1 minute. This was kind of unpredictable. Tell you what, I'm going to go to group by format, and we're going to lose the history, but that's okay. And okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. We got a little kink in the system, but I think we're back. So now I have this new piano track to work with. Now check this out. I'm going to go to layer. I want to load a selection, and first I have to make this the hot layer. And apparently I've lost my selection. So, and the program is bogging down a little bit. You know, at this point, I'm not really sure what's happening here. Something has bogged the system down just a little bit. And I'm not really sure what is going on. But we will continue to try. Hold on. Okay. The transport controls kind of... I lost... something happened inside the program. It went a little bit strange on me. So, okay. But now we're going to try to continue doing this. Now watch. I'm going to go back and select these fundamental tones again. I'm going to go back to View and select Lock Spectrogram to 0. Now check this out. Select the tones and add to selection in place. Now, I'm selecting the fundamental tones again. I'm ripping through it so I can go really fast. And now I'm selecting the notes all over again. And I'm going to save the project in case I need to open it back up again. I'm thinking maybe if I open it back up again, I can get a better performance. But anyway, now here we are. We have this selection here again. And please excuse me. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to come back to it. I think that due to all of the different things that I have happening right now in the iMac, something got a little bit bogged down in here. That's okay. Don't worry about it. We're just going to go back in here and reopen this project. And we'll probably then, everything will be, you know, completely copacetic. Something just got a little bit bogged up with the transport controls, kind of a ARA hiccup. But, yeah, maybe you have to reboot. No, we can't. We cannot reboot. We can relaunch, but I think rebooting is out of the question. But let's, and again, you know, this is real world, you know, real world stuff. So I saved the project, and now let's see what we have come up with. The stereo piano here. Okay. And let's see, hold on. to see if this thing is happening here. And yeah, see here, we're back. This is the fundamental baby audio track with the reverb. And now here we have the new stereo track, the stereo piano track that I want to do some more work on. And we're good to go. And that is actually already in SpectraLayers here. So let's take a little break and go back to the comments. Texas, woohoo. Yay. So, what you just saw here is a little bit of a hiccup that happened, and it had something to do with the transport control between Cubase and SpectraLayers. And I haven't had this happen before. This is really interesting. But, things happen. This is complicated. And, my computer is running a lot of different things right now. The browser and, all of the OBS software and stuff like that. But as you can see, I managed to save the project and come back to it exactly where I was. And nothing was lost. And now we can get back to work and do more cool stuff. And sadly, it did not save my selection, but it was a really super easy selection so that so we can go back and reselect on that. And so I'm going to select my piano track here, and I'm going to go into my lock spectrogram to 0, and I'm going to boost that up. And now we're going to mute this track, and this is the piano track we're working on. And the transport control is working fine now, so we're back. And I'm going to take my frequency selection tool and grab the fundamental tones here like this. Whoops. Add to selection needs to be on. Let's try that again. Thanks for bearing with me through that. That was a little bit of a snag, but everything worked out. And it'll be worth it. Watch what I'm going to do next. This is cool. So I'm reselecting these notes. And again, we'll try saving the selection as fundamentals. We have to start over with that. Now watch. I'll save this as fundamentals. Okay. Now I'm going to save the project. Command S to save it. And now, if I need to relaunch the Cubase project with SpectraLayers inside of it, why then my fundamentals will be there. But save your project often. Okay, so here we are back to the fundamentals. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you is this. We are going to select harmonics based off of this fundamental. And in order to do that, I'm going to go to select harmonics. And look, now here we're presented with choices of even or odd harmonics. And this time I want just the odd harmonics, not including the fundamental. Now, technically, I believe this is true, that the fundamental is considered an odd harmonic, and we're going to take it out, but regardless, we don't want it anyway. So I'm going to uncheck the fundamental, and I'm going to uncheck all the even numbers. And last time I checked, 10 was even, so we're going to uncheck that. So now we have the 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th harmonic selected. And let's click OK. And now we have only the odd harmonics of the piano tones are selected. Listen. Repetition is the mother of learning. And, the road to success is paved with failure, as they say. And the program got a little bit snarky on me there, didn't it? But that's okay. We're back. So this is a real world scenario, isn't it? Isn't that right? Now, listen, these are the odd harmonics. And I really like odd harmonics because they bring out the resonances of whatever the instrument is. And they sound, they can sound atonal or they can sound a little bit wonky. And here we have kind of like, I'll play a little bit of it again. Here we have like a hollow resonance. It sounds almost oboe-like, whereas the fundamental tone, I said it sounded like kind of like a Rhodes piano or kind of like a marimba. Here we have just kind of a resonant oboe-like sound. And so now this is the selection that I want. And of course, if I want to, I can go in here and save this selection too. And I can save this as odds, which I will do. And now we have that selection is saved, and I can recall that if I want to, even though I probably won't. So what we want to do is isolate these odds, and I'm going to do the same process again. I'm going to invert the selection, hit the delete key, and then Command D to deselect, and now we have the odds selected on their own layer, and as well as their own channel here in Cubase. So now going here, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to go to Inserts, and I'm going to put in the baby audio, spaced out. And this time I'm going to choose a different thing. Like I just got this plugin, so it's like I'm not a super expert on it. We don't want rhythmic stuff, so I'm not going to take something called a rhythmizer. But Beautiful Rhodes, sure, why not? Now Beautiful Rhodes, I'm going to grab the mix control and go straight over to 100%. And now let's listen to what this sounds like. Okay, kind of again, it retains its kind of oboe-y kind of timbre. And I'm going to take the pre-delay all the way off. And yeah, it's great. Let's have a little bit more length here on the reverb, so we'll bring the length up to about 80%. Now, you can listen to the effect. I'm going to hit the space bar and hit it again to stop play after the first note so that you can hear what the tail sounds like. Hear that? So now we have a nice tail. Now, when I put that together with the fundamental, both together, this is a constant, nonstop dance between the mute and solo buttons, both here in Cubase and in SpectraLayers. You've got to keep your eyes on the prize here. Okay. So now we have the odd harmonics and the fundamental on two different reverb scenarios. That sounds great. And combined with the original stereo piano. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And now it fits a lot more into the total soundscape. Okay, so far so good. And that little foible that we had, that little moment that we had, that's behind us now. And I'm going to go up to the pool window, and I'm going to grab my last copy of the piano track, and I'm going to drag that in and move over here like this, and then solo it. And again, here we have the piano track. Okay, that's great. So now I'm going to pull this into SpectraLayers as well by clicking on it and going Audio, Extensions, SpectraLayers. And you might take a guess on what we're going to do now. We are going to take another round of harmonics from this, and it's going to be just the evens. And the even harmonics, these are the most sonorous tones of the entire... hold on, let's get some color going here. These are the most sonorous tones in the sound. And here we go. Stereo piano 4 here, stereo piano 4 here. And we'll make super quick work out of this. And we can make it quick because I can load a selection. And I'm going to load fundamentals. There are my fundamentals. Now I'm going to go back to select harmonics. And this time I'm going to select all of the evens, again bypassing the fundamental because we already have that in our first little mix of the piano tracks. So fundamental's gone, and now we want 2, 4, 6, and 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. All of the evens, none of the odds. Select. Now, this sounds like just like a really clean Rhodes piano, I think. Oh, no, it sounds like a really clean regular piano. But listen, evens only, no odds. So you get the super clean sound. Okay. So then I'm going to invert the selection once more and hit my delete key on that. Command D to deselect the selection. Now we're left with just the most sonorous, even harmonic tones that are available in this piano sound. And it sounds great. And let's head straight over and do the exact same thing with it that we did to the others. And we'll put the baby audio on there. And this time we'll choose a different kind of random preset. Lush pads. Okay. And again, I'm going to move my mix control over to 100% wet. And what does this sound like? Okay, that's super long. It's kind of too long. Shorten it up a little bit. Short and lush. Okay, great. And now, we're finished with our 3 different extractions from the original piano sound that we processed independently here in Cubase. And let's line them all up and run it down. So here we have the stereo piano. And it sounds pretty dry. And now I'm going to kick in the fundamental. Unmute. Hold on, we have to make sure that everything in SpectraLayers is unmuted. The mute and unmute thing always gets me every time. So now here we have the piano and the fundamental reverb. Right? And it's live in Cubase. Here, when I hit the stop key, or when I hit the space bar, you can hear the reverb trailing off. And now I can dial in the odds, and I'll rename these. Good. And the evens. There we go. Isn't that cool? We took this piano sound and we made a reverb texture bed for it that was like extremely customized. And if I had more time, I would take all 3 of these new effects tracks and I would run them through the same bus and maybe compress that, or maybe even put even more reverb on it. I mean, that's how Brian Eno and Dan Lanois did it. I mean, they recorded stuff with lots of effects, and then they took those tracks and they put them through even more effects. And so SpectraLayers can really help us sort things out and give us the raw materials that we can take advantage of in order to do some killer sound design work. Okay. Let's listen to the whole works from the beginning. And all right. And listen to the results of our work. We have the music bed, which is the Arturia Polybrute. We have the lap steel bed, which sounds almost like a chorus of voices, especially when you get here. pure lap steel. And then we have the stereo piano, which is kind of dry. That's the Spitfire felt piano. Fundamental reverb. Cool. We have the odds. I like the odds. Okay. And the evens. Okay. Nice. Okay, let's listen to the whole works one more time, and then we'll move on to the next part of the demo. Here we go. That's pretty cool. Hey, let's do one more quick thing. Let's go to the let's go here to the odds. I find the odds are like kind of really compelling to me, and I wanna do more. I wanna weird them up a little bit more. So I've got this other baby audio thing that let's pop that on there. I got this thing called tape, and this is a tape simulator. So let's put some like wobble and in noise and stuff into the odds, and crank up the wear and the noise a little bit, and glue. Am I on the right? I'm not on the right track. Oops, sorry. That was my bad. Okay, so here I am in the odds. Sorry about that. Here I am in the odds, and I'm going to put the tape on that. Yeah. Now let's see what that's like. There we go. Oh, check out that wow and flutter. Yeah, it's totally wonky. It's nice. Crank up the drive a little bit. I probably want to put tape before spaced out. Yeah. Okay, now let's listen to it one more time. Almost done with this part of the presentation. Thanks for bearing with me. Yeah, this is cool stuff. Okay, let's give it one more run through here. Now we have the tape, and as well as the spaced out here. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Pull down the original piano track a little bit, just a little. Yeah, cool. One more time. I cranked up the reverb at the end there to get a cool tail. All right. Well, that's the end of part one here. We took an hour on that. We took almost an hour on that. But anyway, let's go through the major points here. When you bring when you bring audio content into SpectraLayers, it really wants to see the same audio properties on every tab. And so when we started out, we had one stereo track, two stereo tracks, and one mono track. SpectraLayers opened them up on two separate tabs, a mono and a stereo tab. From there, I can go to the stereo tab and ungroup that so everything shows up on its own tab. And then, of course, that all saves with the project. And then we can make selections, save them with the projects, and then just start, slinging stuff around. And that little bit of a problem that we had there, that worked itself out nicely. And I honestly have never seen that before. And so I'm thinking that it was all about having so much stuff up on this computer at once. And let's move on to the next thing. Comments. What's the delay plugin? That plugin is called Baby Audio Spaced Out. It's a combination reverb and delay. And like Gareth said, who said, well, these comments are coming in fast. Hold on. Well, somebody, hang on. I got to move over here and look at these comments. Instant Eno. Somebody said Instant Eno. What was it? I got to go back and look and see who said that. What a lot of comments. It's very Eno. Tis Eno. It's Gareth said it's Instant Eno. And like, there was even a preset in there called Harold's Piano. And of course, that's Harold Budd, an Eno associate. Yeah, lots of great comments. I think Mr. Lanois would be happy with this too. Well, isn't that great? I mean, who's better than Dan Lan? I mean, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, it's very good. Did you miss the dialogue denoising? Nope, you did not. And great, haha, good comments. Sound like Casio? Yeah, sure. The old CZ101, you could get some kind of nasally stuff with that. That's very cool. Okay. All right. Yep. Now we can move on. We'll move on to the next thing. And that took a while, but thanks for hanging in there. Okay. So now we're going to go to improved voice denoiser. And let's see. I'm going to back out of this project here. We'll close it up. And do I want to save it? Nah, we'll do it all over again later. And this is also we're going to do this in Cubase. And so as you can see, instead of closing the program and relaunching it, I'm just going to reboot. I'm going to reinstantiate Cubase here from scratch. I never really exited the program. I'm going to quit Cubase and I'm going to fire it up again, kind of like to try to avoid any potential weirdness. Oh boy. All right, here we go. Okay, everybody take a drink, whatever you're drinking. I'm having coffee. And yeah. And here we go. Again, I'm Mike Scheibinger. I'm here at Virtu Studio, Madison, Wisconsin. And the name of this presentation is SpectraLayers Pro 8 New Features, Part 2. And we're getting into sort of the second phase here of it. And everything is going screamingly here. So, yeah, for the moment, I think I'm launching the wrong version of Cubase. I'm launching 10.5 instead of 11. And so it's kind of doing a quick plug-in scan here. It won't take long. I updated my SoundToy stuff, and so it's kind of searching through that. Yeah, this should just take a second. Again, thanks for bearing with. A couple of things here are taking a little bit longer than usual, but it's okay. We will be back in style here in a minute. I'm going to just force this Cubase to quit. And we're going to open it up in the proper Cubase 11. will be up and running in a quick sec. Okay. And more comments. Yes. Yeah, that was not a crash. I opened up the wrong version. Since I help Steinberg out, with product development and stuff like that, I have to keep these different versions on my computer. And sometimes I launch them by accident. Okay, we're gonna work on this file here and denoise it. And it sounds like this.
It's up to you.
Okay. Now you can see I have 2 copies of this here, and one is a reference copy, and we're gonna be using it. The second copy here I have muted, and the first copy is the one that we're listening to.
It's up to you.
And the second one is exactly the same.
It's up to you.
Okay. So let's get started. And I'm going to look at my notes for just a second here. And we need to bring this file, this clip that we're going to work on, into SpectraLayers. So audio, extensions, SpectraLayers. And it opens up in the background here. No, not in the background, in the foreground, in the audio window. And here we have it.
It's up to you.
Okay, now, here we can explore, just give me just one moment here. Yeah, here we can get straight to the improved voice denoiser process. And I click on it. How did I do that? I'll explain. We'll go to Process, Voice Denoiser, and the dialog box appears. And we have 2 different algorithms to work with. We have the noise algorithm and the music algorithm. And the music algorithm has a sensitivity control here and a reduction ratio. And there's a reduced noise, reduced signal option. We're going to explore both algorithms here and see what different kinds of results that we can come up with. Start with the music algorithm, sensitivity of 0, reduction ratio 100%, reduced noise, and we can hit the preview button and process what that will sound like. And
it's up to you.
Okay, that's a pretty nice result. If I bypass the process, you can hear the original again.
It's up to you.
Okay. And you can also go to reduce signal and preview that as well. And then this way you can hear exactly what it is that's being removed.
It's up to you.
Bypass off. Okay, this is what's being taken away. And there's no voice in there. I mean, none. So that's pretty cool, right? Let's preview the process again and take the sensitivity down to -2 all the way down and preview that. Taking out a lot. And preview again, reduce noise.
It's up to you.
At -2, it's not taking out a lot. Let's go all the way up to 2.0, which is like magnitudes more sensitivity. And we'll preview that on reduced noise. Listen.
It's up to you.
Wow. Pretty good job. You can, one thing I'm noticing here is that the actual vocal tone or whatever, that's hanging together pretty well. I mean, it doesn't really have that kind of underwater phasey sound, but I think that with the sensitivity control up to 2, that kind of phasiness sort of starts coming in a little bit. Let's preview that again.
It's up to you.
Not bad. Bypass.
It's up to you.
Yep, and you can actually see what's happening there too. Let's back off and go down to a sensitivity of 1.0 and see if that makes a difference, and maybe it'll make as much noise reduction happen, but maybe with a little bit less phasiness.
It's up to you.
Yeah, a little bit less phasiness. As an end user, you kind of have to decide what the threshold of acceptability is there. That's not too bad. Let's go back to the noise. Let's go to the noise algorithm and see what that does. Notice that doesn't have a sensitivity control when I preview it.
It's up to you.
Yep, it's not doing a lot. So the music algorithm is the one that we are going to want to use.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Notice that using the noise algorithm, some of the vocal remains inside of that. In a future presentation, I'll go out and I'll find some use cases that work better with the noise algorithm. But for now, I think the music algorithm is our best bet. And so I'm going to crank the sensitivity all the way up, and I'm going to go, reduce the noise. And again, we'll preview it one more time.
It's up to you.
Yeah, good. And now it stops. And if I'm happy with this, I just click OK. And the process is burned in. And now here it is.
It's up to you.
Good. Now, are we finished? Well, we could be. We could be finished. If this result is satisfactory for you, then yeah, we're finished. But if you want to go deeper, remember that the artificial intelligence assisted processes and the automatic processes, they do a certain thing. And then after that gets done, after these processes are done, then you're free to go in there and use all these tools over here on the left, the manual selection tools, to do, further work and get better and better and better results. Excuse me? And this is one thing that sets SpectraLayers apart from the pack. Yes, there are automatic processes, just like a lot of other programs have automatic processes. And the technology is coming along. These processes do really cool things. And you can get good results right out of the box. But SpectraLayers gives you the opportunity to go in there and completely fine-tune your stuff after you do the automatic processes, which do the heavy lifting. You can go in there and really get busy. And everybody take a drink. I'm having water and coffee. It's water time here. Okay. Seriously, please respect. Yeah. There's a real party going on over here in the comments. That's great. Okay, now I am going to go to View, and I'm going to lock my spectrogram down to 0 again so that when I scroll up, 0 hertz is maintained. And let's take a look at this noise reduction. Here you can see the fundamental tone of the singer, and here you can see, first harmonic, second harmonic, all the way up the line. And you can see in between, this is where the noise lives that was not taken out using the AI algorithm. And so let's just focus on a small part of this.
To you.
The word you.
To you.
Look, you can see the squiggly line here. That's her vibrato. And we're going to focus on the part right from the beginning of the word you, right to where the vibrato starts. We'll focus on that area. But first we'll do a global thing. I can use the frequency range selection tool to simply select everything below the fundamental, and hit the delete key on that, and it's gone. And now that part is gone.
It's up to you.
It's not going to make that much of a difference because most of that stuff was wiped out anyway. But just to make sure, I use the tool and went in there. Now we're going to do some detail work. Now watch, I'm going to grab the eraser tool, and you can see that the eraser tool comes up with this brush size. Now, there are two different ways to deal with brush sizes in SpectraLayers, and you kind of use them together in combination. First of all, I want you to note that this brush is a certain size. It's 59 pixels. But if I change my zoom view, the brush size stays. The brush size does not scale with the zoom feature, which is great because it allows you to instead of changing your brush size, you can just rescale your zoom factor and make it so that your brush works perfectly. So now with my hardness at 100% and let's say 36 dB of attenuation, that's a lot. We're cutting really deep. We'll say 40 dB of attenuation. Now watch. I can take my eraser tool and work on I can actually work on the noise that is in between the look, even in the vibrato. If I bring my brush size down a little bit, I can make a brush tip or whatever that just gets right in there, and I can just start working the noise out of the sound. And again, noise between, and I just continue dragging my eraser tool here between. Now, I understand this is tedious work, and there may be cases when you don't need to do this, but if you want to achieve a super clean sample, then, and you're willing to work for it, then you can go in there and do what I'm doing right now, which is cleaning out all of the noise between. Let's see what we got so far.
It's up to you.
Now see on the word you,
Up to you.
pretty soon, you keep working on this like this. And look, you don't have to go up and do every single harmonic. The noise reaches a point where it's stronger at lower frequencies. And so here, I'm going to take the lock off the spectrogram. Now I can use my hand tool to, drag it down and go back and get my eraser tool and just keep working, working out the spaces between those fundamentals like this. And look at that. The noise just goes away. I mean, you're just getting rid of it. And the integrity of the vocal sample is maintained. Now, again, like I understand, this is just, tedious work. But say for example, you're trying to get rid of the noise in a file, and there's one part of it that's giving you like a big problem, or that's like a really obvious problem. You may want to go in there and just do that part. Look at the difference between here and here. Here, there's noise. Now, we're already up in the 3K range, so the noise becomes kind of less critical the higher you go. Down here in the in the lower range or whatever, that's when the noise becomes really obvious. Now, again, I'm taking my brush size down a little bit like this. Look at that, with a little tiny brush. We're getting so micro here, You have to ask yourself, like, who's going to stop me? So, like, somebody stop me, or I'll just do this forever. It's, I don't know. It's fun, I guess. I have fun doing this. I think it's great. And again, cleaning out that stuff. And finally,
To you. To you.
okay, let's go back and listen to the same word on the original. I'll mute this and unmute this. Listen.
To you. To you. To you. To you.
All right, and here's the cleaned up version.
To you. To you. yeah.
Okay, now that cleaned up so well that you could, almost get away with dropping it into a song and having it work without any unpleasant artifacts. And yeah, that's the way you do it. Now, here's the main point again. In SpectraLayers Pro, ever since the beginning, it always had, phenomenal manual tools. And SpectraLayers was out for a really long time before it took on its first automatic processes. But then, we started taking on automatic processes and then artificial intelligence assisted automatic processes. And finally, version 8, which has improvements across the board. And, I always like to point out that, everybody wants to chase this glittering prize of artificial intelligence and processes. But, of course we want to do that in order to be better. But we also, we continue to maintain our focus on the manual tools because we understand that SpectraLayers is a system. First, you use the automatic processes, then you go in there and you use the manual tools for refinement. And there's nothing else like it. And in ARA mode, it's absolutely ideal. Okay, that concludes this part. We have one more thing to go. And let's go to comments for a while. What? Cubase Nation? Therapeutic. Therapeutic it is when you go into a kind of a Zen-like state and forget the world and you start using that eraser tool and getting between those harmonics. I don't know, everything falls into place in the universe. It's therapeutic. Can fundamentals and overtones all be split to their own tracks to remix volume balance? Yeah, we did that. We did that in the first part of this demonstration where we took the fundamentals, the evens and the odds, placed them on their own individual tracks in Cubase and then affected them. So sure, of course. And super curious. Yeah. And looking at the comments, using SpectraLayers and Nuendo directly for the finest manual cleaning and tweaking. It is the finest. RX8 I use for bulk processing. SpectraLayers is way more precise. Okay, let's address that for a minute. And everybody loves RX and everybody loves SpectraLayers. Why not both? Why not both? RX you can split out into little modules, and you can tackle things in a bulk processing kind of way. And you can do that in SpectraLayers too. You can handle, broad brush artificial intelligence assisted processes across the entire track. But then afterwards, that's when you go in there with the manual tools. And these manual tools over here on the left, they're so fun to use. It's just great. More comments. And let's see. And a lot going on in the comments. Resolution of the graphics. Not quite sure what that's about. Evict the noise. Yeah. Michael Pierce states, okay, I'm an RX user, fine. But the idea of having this direct within Cubase is seriously tempting. And, it's ARA2 functionality. ARA2 is the technology that was developed by Solemnity, makers of Melodyne. In a very, this technology is like VST on steroids. It's like plug-in integration that is, it's like the difference between looking through a pinhole and looking through a great big picture window, because the ARA2 functionality can take in so much more information in time before and after the actual moment where the playhead crosses your file. See, in VST plugins, the playhead crosses X point, and that information is sent to the plugin for processing in real time. It goes through the plugin, and whatever it does, that's what you get. But in ARA2, it's not like a single playhead, scanning the audio track. It's like a big window that you know what the Overton window is. It's like the ARA2 is like the Overton window for audio. It creates a wider vista of time and space inside the audio file, so that that's how we can do stuff like this. And coffee and water, yeah, man. All right, now down to the end of the comments. Okay, here we go. Well, that's it. That's it for this one. We have one more thing to go, and that is click repair. And click repair, I think we're going to do that in SpectraLayers. And I'm not going to save this. We'll do it again later. And yeah, click repair is a SpectraLayers thing. And I'm going to open it right up, and there we are. Okay, listen to this. Okay. One more time. Simple. It's a saxophone sound with clicks in it. Let's start by, you don't really have to do this, but I'm going to duplicate this because there's some stuff that I want to show you later that depends on me having two of these things. And so here I'm going to duplicate the alto sax and then mute it, the original. So now this is the file that we'll work on. Okay, now let's go to Process and click Repair. No writable layer. That's because I have to select an active layer that's not muted. This gets me every time. Just like solo and mute, I'll never learn. Process, click Repair, and here we are. Here's the window. And the default setting, threshold 1 dB, 6 pixel width, 100, the works. Let's preview what's going to happen when if we execute this. Preview. Now you're hearing just the clicks. Just the clicks. Reduce clicks. Preview. Okay, I have my threshold all the way down. If I turn my threshold up all the way, you're probably going to get not as good of a result. Right. Actually, there's no change there. So we're going to go with max pixel width, reduction ratio of 100%, threshold 1. Again, one more preview. And again, one more look at reduce signal. This is what we're taking out. This is what's exiting the layer. Okay, great. So now if I go back to reduce clicks and click OK, the declicked file. The declicked file is on deck, and that's the simple way to do it. That's the simple process. I'm going to back up a step here and undo that. I want to make sure that my undo is all. There we go. Now we're back to the original. And duplicate. I'm going to duplicate this again. Okay, now watch this. I'm working on my duplicate. Okay, now I'm going to run this. I'm going to run the process again. Click Repair. And again, let's preview it. Okay, good. Stop. And I'm going to go to reduce signal. Now watch. This is what we're taking out. And you can see there's some saxophone sounds in there, like mouth sounds and stuff like that. And so we're taking some clicks, but we're also taking valuable parts of the original signal as well. Okay, now, this is based on a user comment who, a gentleman in one of the user comments on one of the videos was wondering about the flexibility of being able to extract only the defects. Instead of just wiping it out and getting rid of it, he was wondering if you were able to actually extract that and do stuff with it. And the answer is, of course. Now, here on Reduce Clicks, this is what we would do in a normal operation. But now watch this. I can go to Reduce Signal and click OK. And I can actually render out the defects. Okay, so now I have an audio file that contains only the defects. And what can I do with that? Now watch this. Okay, in the alto sax file here, I'm going to click this phase switch, and I'm going to invert the phase of the clicks. Now, when I invert the phase of the clicks and play both tracks together, this is the original with clicks, and this is clicks only. Let's make sure that we're clear on this, okay? This is important. So, mute solo. Here, now, this is the sax with the clicks, unaffected. Okay? And this is the clicks only. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the clicks only and throw it out of phase with the alto sax. Now, we get the exact same result that we would have achieved had we run the process on the original file. When I play them both together, unmuted, of course. Right? Okay. And this is where, again, we can use the tools in SpectraLayers to make incredibly subtle changes to the content. And watch this. So now I'm going to take this layer that's just out of phase clicks, or, phase inverted clicks. And I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to move it so that it lives above the alto sax layer. So now here, at the risk of being redundant here, I just want to be clear. This is the original with clicks. And this is the clicks only. And I throw it out of phase, play them both together, and the clicks are taken out just as if it were part of the noise reduction process. Okay, now watch this. I'm going to take the clicks only, and I'm going to move the phase back to normal so that the phase is the same on both. And that's because I don't want to mix. We're going to move stuff from layer to layer, and I don't want to move stuff I want to maintain phase coherency the whole time. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. And so now watch this. I'm going to solo the alto sax layer, and I'm going to bring up my my brightness a little bit and do the refinement thing, and we'll go back and do the old lock to zero thing that I like so much. There we go, and pull it up. And now we're going to start looking at what's inside of here. So here, watch, now look, let's listen a little bit. Now, here, this is not a click. That's a mouth sound from the sax. Okay, but it lives on this layer of click removed stuff. And now remember, I turn this phase switch off so that the phase is now back, to normal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the selection brush, and I'm going to select that mouth noise, okay? Because that mouth noise is not a click, and it doesn't belong there. And then I'm going to scroll out a little bit and look for more of these similar sounds. I'm going to go to also go up here to add to selection now. Whoop. And let's look for sounds that that are not clicks, like this one here. Okay. So you get the point. I'm not going to go in labor over this. I'm just going to do a couple so that you get the idea. Okay, so now watch. This is the magic right here. We've got this click, or this mouth noise from the sax. I'm going to drop this sound back into the alto sax layer. And I make this the active layer. Now watch. I go edit. And we're going to cut it, which means we're cutting it out of the noise artifact layer, and we're moving it to the layer below, which is the alto sax layer. So watch, now I go cut to layer below. Okay, now when I solo the artifact layer, you can see, watch, I'm going to do undo. Look, see, that has been dropped. That has been dropped down into, I've got to just redo this very quickly. I just lost track of my undo. Again, you select, the mouth sound or whatever that is, a reed sound or a blowing of air, and then edit, cut special, cut to layer below. Now, that sound shows up here. It's been put back. Now watch, when I do an undo, Command Z, you'll see the sound go away from here. Right? And there's the selection, undo, it's gone. And so after I've dragged all of the different things back into the file, then I can change the phase back on the artifact file. And that's, this is almost my end result. And there's one more thing I can do here. When I'm done doing all of this work, I go up here and select layer, and then I'm going to go merge all. And when I do merge all, now I have the affected the click reduction process has been baked into this file. And this is what I'm left with. And now, again, we can do stage 2 of the cleaning, which would be, to do stuff like get rid of more clicks and clean up the file. Like here, for example, I'm using the time range selection tool to create a selection. Now look, on the edges of this selection, they're feathered. And you can create a feathering effect. Like say, I wanted it to fade out gradually, so it doesn't sound so abrupt. I could increase my fade time. Let's say I increase my fade time to 0.25 of a second. Now when I make the selection, I can make it really tight up against the transients because, look, those are going to be preserved. You can see the shading. Wherever the shading is the most, then that's where the most cutting is going to happen. And I hit delete, and now Command D to deselect, and we have a nice smooth fade out on the end of the sax tone and a nice smooth fade back in, but all of those clicks are gone. Hear that? Haha, but look. Is that a click right here? Check it out. Oh, maybe not. I thought it was. I think it is. So if stuff like this is so easy to get rid of, here I'm using the transient detection tool, and I can hover over this transient and just pick it up like that, hit delete. No, that's gone. That's a good tool. Transient tool is cool. Deselect the selection. Whoops. Okay. There we go. Go back to my old tool here. There. Listen to that. That's totally gone. Watch. I'm going to go back. Control Z. Well, watch now. Yep. And It's gone. And here, look, here's a little, like a little ghost of a click. Or maybe it's not. I can't tell anymore. Sometimes it could be like a machine sound coming off of the sax. Now listen to the difference between this spot here and this spot here. Right? Silence here, clicks here. All right. So again, I can take my time range selection tool and just snuggle up there to the transients. Got a nice fade. Hit the delete key, that's all you have to do. Hit the delete key, it's gone. All right. Now inside of here, look, this is obviously a click. And again, just like a lot of other problems like this, the clicks, you know, they happen in this range. In this case, the click is very particular to this range, not so intense up here. So here's a click. Going to zero in on my FFT view here a little bit. Look at that. What a nice view. Here's the sax the sax overtones. Whoops. And I'm going to go up here. I can go to my scrolling and not have it return to start on stop. When you're super dialed in, super close, you don't want that scrolling to go to the next page so fast. Scrolling, none. Okay, let's take another look here. Hear that? This one right here. And again, transport. I want to return to start on stop, but no scrolling. Now that's what I want. Now look, I'm going to go right over the top of this click here like this. Let's open it up. Now you can see that clearly. Grab the eraser tool. I'm just going to just make it a little bit smaller, and you can get right in there and attenuate that click right between the overtones. I'm just pressing my mouse button down and drawing over it. Let's see. Did I miss the spot? Okay. Well, maybe I could have done a little better there, but we'll do one more thing and then call it a day, okay? We'll find one more click. One more click and then we'll call it. It's hard to even find one now. I don't know. I think you get the idea. We're just going to probably stop there. If you wanted to get rid of this little, I don't know, this was a loop, and they do this thing called crossfade looping so that the end of the sound is at the beginning of the loop. So that'd be super easy to get rid of if you want to do that. Just grab the time range selection tool again, drag it over, hit the delete key, Command D to deselect. If you if we go to the time range selection tool and bring our time fade down to like 0.05, very tight, we can get a very, very tight beginning here. It looks, we're going to get rid of this stuff. Hit the delete key, Command D. Now we have a totally clean start. All right. Not bad, huh? Good stuff. Okay, let's go over and take a look at the comments. Audio singularity. The singularity is near, man. The singularity is near. There's a black hole lurking on the screen. Terrifying. You can create a giant black hole in SpectraLayers without any problems whatsoever. Great feature. Sonic sculpting. The cut to layer section, I'll be going over. Yes, cut to layer below. Cut to layer below is the magic. If you go back to the last official Steinberg video, stem cleaning, go and watch that video, because The thing that separates SpectraLayers from all of these other programs that do stem cleaning is that you never lose any data if you don't want to. If you plan on remixing a track, you never lose a speck of data because, okay, first you do the unmixed stems process, and then you go to the stems, and if you find something that doesn't belong in the stem, you don't have to delete it. You just transfer it. You transfer it to a different layer. And so nothing is lost. And why is that important? It's important because you maintain phase coherency. Every time you cut a hole in something, you're going to get like some kind of underwater sucking sound, right? You're going to get what they call, it's comb filtering. Every time you do some kind of spectral thing, a little bit of that comb filtering happens. And so when you subtract data, you invite artifacts. But if you're remixing a track using unmixed stems or even unmixed components in SpectraLayers, you don't have to kill that data. You can take that data and move it to a different program. Like say, for example, in the SpectraLayers demo I did, after I did unmixed stems, the bass track was empty, but because there was no bass. But if you look closely, a little bit of content got shifted into that layer. You know, the algorithm said, we're just going to put that there. And so you get these little fragments of content. Don't get rid of those, man. Keep those, because if you get rid of them, you're inviting artifacts. And if you keep them, you maintain phase coherency. All right. Okay. And that just about wraps it up. I think we went almost 2 hours. And we're done. So let's go back and take one more quick look at all these projects. Let's go back and take one more look at the slides. And this will be a great way to wrap it up. We did a lot of stuff today. Here we have basically 27 instructional videos. Friends, this is your user guide. This is where you go to learn about the program. Go to Steinberg, go to the YouTube channel, and check out these videos. Say, for example, you want to get rid of some hum in a file. Why, there it is, middle column, third video, hum reduction. Just go there and do it. These videos are quick and easy, and they're quick. And that's the important thing. Live streams, not so quick. Live streams, we take our time. But the cool thing is that live streams are indexed. And you can get to your index points very quickly. And then today, what did we look at? We did our sound design project with the improved ARA2 integration, did some voice denoiser work, we did some click repair. And again, I think if there's one overarching theme here of this whole day is that SpectraLayers is a system. So you can't just go and say, hey, program X does noise reduction better than SpectraLayers. That's not really getting the big picture. The big picture is SpectraLayers has a lot of processes and a lot of tools. It's a system. And once you get inside the system and learn about how all of these things relate to one another, that's when you're going to bring the best out of the program, and you're going to bring the very, very best out of your own personal goals and work. Okay, and now here we are with the blank desktop, and I guess that means we're done. So one quick look at the comments here. How would you go about removing a vocal double? That's very difficult. Very difficult. I would start by using the de-reverb process, maybe using unmixed components, especially if it's like if it's a really tight delay, like if it's say for example, there's like a 50 millisecond delay that you're trying to get rid of. you know, don't bank on it. It's not going to happen. So I'll leave you with like a little bit of ambient music here as we sign off. And batch processing would be nice to treat in a separate video as well. Yeah. And I really appreciate all you guys coming in today and checking in. And I'll leave you with a little bit of this ambient music here. And, you know, SpectraLayers is always being used on all of this stuff. And my name is Mike Scheibinger, and I'm here in Madison, Wisconsin at Virtu Studio. This is the 8th live stream, and this one was called New Features Part 2, SpectraLayers Pro 8 New Features Part 2. And we'll just relax and listen to this video for, I don't know, how long is it? So we've got 5 minutes here. And then when it's all over, then that'll be our cue to sign off. And so if you have any comments here, check in with those. Secret, good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. I'm really glad you could make it. Secret, how long have you been here? Have you been here since the beginning? Yeah. Thanks, Tim. Cool music. Yeah, thank you so much. This is my lockdown thing, man. I mean, during the COVID thing in the lockdown, this is just something about me, I guess, in case you're interested. But I learned how to make videos in Premiere for Steinberg during lockdown. That's what I did. That's what I did during lockdown. You know, I just sat in my basement and I learned how to use the NLE, and I started cranking out these videos for Steinberg. And that's what I did during lockdown for more than a year. And this track was made last April, and it was sort of like deep into the lockdown. And so lots of silent contemplation and all that, and everything worked out great. You're welcome, Leonard de Greve. Yeah, you're welcome. That's cool. Yeah, if you want to, go over to YouTube and just... I have a couple tracks up there from this little thing called Resistance, and all of this stuff uses SpectraLayers all over the place, getting rid of little noises, especially with like the lap steel. It makes little hinky little sounds and stuff like that. You just go in there and grab the eraser tool and get rid of it. It's cool. Yeah. Part 3. You know, I'm really glad you mentioned that. There's not going to be a part 3 because we've gone over like the vast majority of the new features. So the next live stream will be something else. And go over to the YouTube channel and where this live stream is going to be, and put in comments about what you would like to see in the future. We'd love to hear from you, and you know, do topics that you want to see happen. And so the next live stream is going to be November 27th, and I don't know what the topic is going to be yet, but yeah, you know, make some comments make the comments in the comments section for this live stream, and I'll try to accommodate what you want to see. All right, good to see you, Secret. Yep. All right. Okay. And that's almost a wrap. So, again, thanks for checking it out. I'm Mike Scheibinger, and I'm here at Virtu Studio. SpectraLayers Pro 8 New Features Part 2. And now, the little world will dissolve here right in front of your eyes, and then when it's over, then it's going to be lights out. So, yeah. All right. Very cool. And thanks for checking in today, everybody. Doing live streams here is one of my favorite things. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again on November 27th. in the very near future. So, hope you enjoyed this, and I'm going to sign off now. One more time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's almost over. And that's it. See you guys. See you next time.